Now, in order to solve for D here, we're going to have to find some unknown angles in triangle ADC first off. So we're going to have to indirectly solve for D by finding other measurements in this diagram. So for triangle ADC, there is the angle ADC, which is located here, and it is supplementary to angle BDA, which is 55 degrees. So that means that angle ADC is equal to 180 degrees minus 55. So angle ADC is equal to 125 degrees. We can also figure out the measure of angle DAC because it's the third angle in this triangle. Remember that the sum of the angles, interior angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So angle DAC is going to be 180 minus 125 minus 35, which is 20 degrees. So we can label the angle there. So now we have the three angles in our triangle, and if we consider triangle ADC, we have a side and an opposite angle, or you can think of it as an angle and a corresponding side. We can use this angle, 35 degrees, in order to find the length of side AD. And we're going to call that C because it is opposite angle C. So we're going to use sine law then in order to find the measure of side C, which is side AD. So when we sub in, angle C is 35 degrees, A is 24 meters, and angle A is 20 degrees. So we solve for C by multiplying both sides by sine 35. And when we do this on our calculator, we input sine of 35, and on the PC calculator you put the 35 in first, then click sine, times 24 divided by 20 sine of 20. And you get an answer of approximately 40.248. And if we're going to round to two decimal places, we'll say approximately 40.25. So C is approximately equal to 40.25 meters. So now we can label that on the diagram. And now we have a side measure and an angle measure in this right triangle ABD. So here's a right triangle. We have an angle measure and a side length measure, and we're looking for this side. And so we can use one of the primary trig ratios, and the one that we're going to use, since this 55-degree angle, we're looking for the opposite side, and we have the hypotenuse. So we're going to use, for triangle ABD, sine of angle D is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And so when we sub in, sine of 55 is equal to, the opposite side is D, and the hypotenuse, the side opposite the right angle, is 40.25. So we then multiply both sides by 40.25 to isolate D. So D is equal to 40.25 times sine 55. So it'll be 40.25 times 55 sine. And if we round to one decimal place, we'll round this to 33.0. So D is equal to 33 meters. So now the plans for a new house require a triangular frame for roof truss. The angle of inclination, and the angle of inclination is the same as the angle of elevation. On one side is 47 degrees. The angle of inclination on the other side is 58 degrees. The horizontal distance of the base of the truss is 8.3 meters. So from the bottom corner of one side of the roof to the other bottom corner of the other side of the roof is 8.3 meters. Determine the height of the truss. Now draw a diagram and label what you know, and what you want to find is the distance from the peak of the roof to the base of the truss. And remember that the height of the triangle is going to be 90 degrees or perpendicular to the base of the truss.